All right, a little bit more excitement, a little bit more Tomb King's excitement coming out here. We have the new Tomb King's starting locations for the Vortex map that was just released here. We see Khemri, we see the Court of Liberis. I'm actually going to zoom in on it over here. I'm going to be doing this format for this video. It's a little bit easier to move around than doing like some sort of like, we'll fix it in post shit. So we've got Khemri, we've got Court of Liberis, we've got the Exiles of Nehek, the Followers of Nagash, the Dune Kingdoms, Numas, Rakoth's Dynasty, and the Sentinels. So, let's take a look where we see them on the map. Obviously, we're going to see two of the big guys here. So, Followers of Nagash, which is... Followers of Nagash, you look at this emblem, it's probably going to be Arkhan the Black. Duh. Khemri right here. Okay, that's probably going to be Settra. We already know our four legendary lords and where roughly where they might be. I mean, Liberis is right here on the map, so we know who's from Liberis. We know that's Khalida. And then we have, I think, up north here somewhere. Over here. Okay, so then we have the Tomb Kings over here as well. So four very different environs here. To be expected. Well, I'm sorry, that's not very different, but it's to be expected to see Arkhan and Settra over here. To be totally honest, it's surprising that the Grand Hierophant isn't over here as well, because he talks about him leaving Settra's services and wandering through the desert, helping out the Tomb Kings at every passing that he can, but careful not to go back into Khemri as he was exiled from all of Nekkara. So very interesting to see him there in that part of the world. Let me zoom in on it again. And I actually think it's kind of cool. I think it's very different to have this portion of the world so diverse. I mean, you have a lot of dark elves in Naggarond, or Naggaroth, as to be expected. But we do have a lot of both beastmen and marauders in here as well. So you get a nice diversity because now we also have some Tomb Kings. So there's going to be a little bit more going on with some high elf incursions through the Bleak Coast and then some lizardmen coming up through the north. So I feel like this is going to be very, very strong for the Dark Elf campaign, and I think it's going to be very different for the Tomb Kings. The Tomb Kings are going to be starting in a land where they're going to be up against stiff competition against the Dark Elves. I mean, if I'm thinking of how the Tomb Kings play in tabletop, they're not necessarily known for tons and tons and tons of AP, or let alone a stalwart front line that's going to be able to absorb, say, Black Ark Corsairs, which are that anti-infantry kind of mulching unit that you would use against vampire counts to cut down a good deal of their skeleton warriors, or a good deal of their skeleton spearmen, or their zombies. So very interesting what we're going to see with this unit of, the Grand Hierophant here in Naggaroth. I think it's going to be a pretty stiff competition. This one will probably be rated like hard or something like that. Then with Arkhan the Black and Settra over here, pretty mediocre as far as, what they're going to be up against. I think you look at Settra's placement here, right? He's in between three other Tomb Kings, so he's probably going to have some sort of Tyrion-like gameplay about him, where he is probably trying to confederate with these other Tomb Kings. It looks like we'll probably have some other lands over here to capture up. Nothing is claimed here. You know, obviously it's in ruins of some sort. So this might be like Xandri, or one of the other locations we were talking about that is northwest of the Tomb Kings. So there could be a lot going on right here. Maybe just one, maybe just two or three locations. But actually, I think that each one of these is its own region. So yeah, this is just going to be one region, I believe. So looks like they have one large one here for Khemri as well. So very interesting to see what we're going to be getting with the mechanics for Settra. Is he going to be a very Confederate heavy lord like we have with Tyrion, or, well, loosely with Malekith? And then with Arkhan the Black over here to the west, under the land of assassins, what does this really mean? How does Arkhan play into all this? I don't know how his kind of starting role here is going to play out. They both look like they're in an easy starting location. Maybe Arkhan the Black is maybe a little bit harder. Maybe Settra's easy and he's normal as far as his difficulty. But I mean, he's up against the Bretonnians. He's up against some Empire, and for the most part, I could see Tomb Kings holding their own against Bretonnians. I mean, for the most part, you're going to fear off their front line, and you're just going to use your skeleton spearmen against their cavalry. It just depends on what we get for Ushabti, or what we get for the Necrosphinx, or any of the larger creatures constructs for the Tomb Kings. How are they going to pan out? Are they going to be just an anti-infantry? Are they going to be anti-large? Depends on what we get from the, I believe that Grace was saying we're going to be getting a Tomb King roster reveal sometime this week, so we'll be able to see how those mechanics play out with those other units to give us a better idea how Tomb Kings are going to stack up against Bretonnia, which is pretty low in the meta right now, so I'm not too worried about that. But the Empire should be pretty interesting, you know, with a lot of the artillery aspects of Empire, or Dwarfs no less, you know, how's that really going to play out? I think the Dwarfs are going to be, of all these starting units right here, Dwarfs are going to be their biggest competition because the Tomb Kings don't have a lot of, again, they don't have a ton of armor piercing in their army, so I'm not sure how they're going to combat the Dwarfs. But I have a feeling that Creative Assembly is going to roll out something with the Tomb Kings that allows them to combat Dwarfs pretty heavily in the early stages. I'm sure that the later Tomb King units can fight against Dwarves a little bit more handedly, but I think in the beginning they're going to have to struggle. I mean, if I'm thinking of skeleton warriors, skeleton archers, horsemen, and the such, I don't think of many AP units in all those units. So it's very interesting there. Now, what I think might be the hard starting faction is going to be Liberus. I mean, take a look where this location is. Woof. Just like you've got your Lore Masters of Hoeth over here, you're kind of secluded all the way over in the Turtle Isles. Over here, you've got in between the western and eastern Gulfs of Lustria, you've got Liberus on its own, really. I mean, yeah, there's ruins right here, and you've got your I think there's the Sentinels of, what is it? What are you? Sentinels of Zeddy. There it is, right there in the Copper Desert. But it's cool because if you've played High Elves, you know that this is almost all uninhabitable. Like right here is almost all uninhabitable, so it's really a pain in the ass to capture up. So with Tomb Kings, I imagine that this would be inhabitable. It's desert. They love desert. They just sink their bony fingers and hands right into that stuff. They're disgusting creatures. I didn't mean that, guys. I kind of got on a riff. I'm really excited for the Tomb Kings. They're not disgusting creatures. They're dead. They're not disgusting. Totally different type of disgust on that one. But this is our map for the Vortex here, and I am so stoked on it. We noticed we did get some shifting here. Let's get over here. Let's get on over to this. I can actually get it there. There we go. So we've got the Neckarch Brotherhood is right here, and I don't notice the Strigos Empire on this map. If you guys see it and I'm completely blind in the heat of the moment here, let me know. I'm thinking that, of course, with Tomb Kings coming in, we've lost the Strigos Empire as an additional faction on the map. They might just become a rogue faction going from town to town. Also, yeah, I just realized that this is another Tomb King faction right here. So the Tomb Kings have a pretty solid confederation right up in this piece, with the ability to get maybe Strigos, or I'm sorry, the Neckarch Brotherhood here. I got completely messed that up. The Neckarch Brotherhood is the one I can see. The Strigos Empire is the one I can't see. But the Neckarch Brotherhood will hopefully either be completely squashed quickly by the Tomb Kings, or maybe they can come into the fold. Who knows how that's going to work out as far as allies go. But this is a map here for the Vortex campaign, and I've got another one here. Aha, perfect. Here's the Mortal Empires map. Now, remember where our starting locations were for all of our lords. We know that this is what we already have in the game. We know that the Silver Host is over here in Lamia. So it would make a lot of sense, because Liberus is like right here, if we had the Cult of Liberus starting right around where Liberus would be. In Land of the Dead, we know we've got Khemri right up in this action as well. It would make a lot of sense if Khemri started here as well. But if we look at this map, you know, the one I just messed up going back to. If you look at this map, we see Land of Assassins, and we see that's exactly where the followers of Nagash start. Are we going to get the Land of Assassins right there? Is that where Arkhan the Black is going to start here? So that would be pretty dicey. I mean, if we're having Arkhan the Black, then Settra, then Khalida, all right there, all in the lower portion. I mean, I don't know where else you'd put him, to be totally honest with you. I'm surprised that like they even chose to put, as I move this again, Liberus over here on the map. I was expecting it to be kind of maybe over here in the Ash River or something like that. But we'll kind of see how this pans out. Now, as far as the Grand Hierophant, where is he going to start? I'll be honest, I don't have much of a clue. I think if we're going off of their starting locations on the Vortex campaign, it's got to have to be somewhere over here. Maybe Iron Frost, well, maybe not Iron Frost Glacier, but maybe the Titan Peaks, the Black Spine Mountains. I don't really necessarily think the Doomglades, I think that might be too far east, but they're going to have to be around this portion of the map. to have it make a lot more sense. That also kind of plays off exactly, again, where we're going to see them starting on the Vortex campaign when I do this all properly, right there. So I'm really excited to see where we get these all placed on the map. It is the 15th. The 23rd is just around the corner. Guys, I couldn't be more excited about the launch of the Tomb Kings. I'm really excited to hear more about the roster reveal that we're going to be getting here hopefully later this week, as Grace hopefully promised. We'll hear a little bit more about how these rosters are going to play out and how we're going to see them in Total War Warhammer 2 when it goes live. But thanks for watching here today, guys. Have a good one and take care.